Welcome. Pleased to have you here from Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. Yeah, this is the AWLA special outfit.
Beautiful. So, what are expectations for today's conference and indeed the 3-day program?
Expectations are to bring people, you see, to refresh people's brain on the rights of women and children. You understand? Children, because you have to remember that among the so women and children, looking at the laws protecting them, you look at the generally at the international level, you have most of these instruments starting from the UDHR, the ICCPR, the economic, social, and cultural rights. Generally, they discuss rights of women because it's the general protection of rights of persons, including women and children. Then you now have specific legislations now, instruments rather, international instruments, such as the International Convention on the Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women, etc. at the international level. So coming to the regional level now, which is the African regional level, the AU now has taken a lot of steps in the promotion and protection of the rights of women and children in Africa. A lot of steps as a result of that, you can see that in 2003, the AU moved towards the adoption of the protocol on women, which entered into force in 2005. By when you look at some of its specific articles, i.e. Article 6, which talks about the protection of the integrity and security of a woman's life, and Article 11 of that particular protocol talks about protection of women in armed conflict situation. Then under the same AU, you have the Solemn Declaration in 2004, where AU is still making efforts in the protection of the rights of women, and particularly the Solemn Declaration, which has the same objective with the Beijing Conference of Action Plan in China, is specifically on the issue of prevention of domination over and discrimination against women, you see, by men. So you discover that a lot of issues have been canvassed in that area. So, and this brings about the AWLA, the African Women Lawyers Association, so that the regional instruments are things to be discussed here. The stakeholders, women lawyers, and other interested, we have also other advocates, other interested persons. We know when, you see, what happens when you are confronted with certain situations on women abuse. You understand what happens, what to do, and how to do it. Because with specific reference to Nigeria, now we have domestic instruments protecting this, where you have the criminal legislations on the issues of rape, sexual harassment, assault, etc. now, and then you now have the National Human Rights Commission, where you can generally go where rights have been violated. You also have the Constitution, which prevents what? Discrimination by virtue of Section 42. And even under the Constitution, you see, anybody can go where your right has been, or likely to be infringed, including this of discrimination. You could go to a high court seeking for redress. Then you have a lot. You also have you have the NAPTIP, you understand, which also protects trafficking now in children now, women inclusive, you understand. Then under it, we also have courts now. You have the family courts. The law permits it, which now the family courts can be set up either at the high court level or at the magistrate's level. But it must be, importantly, we must take note that issues relating to child labor is exclusively under the jurisdiction of the industrial courts.
Very well, Professor. You have indeed lectured us this morning. But looking at Nigeria and indeed Africa, do you think all these have been adopted into a practice? Because you see stage do you think Nigeria is? What stage do you think Africa is in adopting and indeed making sure that our children and indeed our women are protected?
Yes, thank you. You know, just like I told you, that Africa has taken a lot of steps. And within Nigeria, we also have some regional mechanisms for the enforcement of these things. The laws are okay. I hope you understand. Yes. The laws are okay because I told you have a lot. What we have now, subject to our local circumstances, is the issue of awareness for the victims now. Yes. You see, the victims, particularly our young girls, they need to know that it is their father, parents or guardian or whatever, or teachers, you see, yes, cannot just intimidate them that, look, if you expose me, I'm going to kill you, or if you expose me, like the one that currently happened, was that in Lagos, where the father threatened the girl that, look, if you tell anybody, I will stop paying your school fees. So it is it's just high time. All we need now is awareness, so to say, so that the children and even women, you understand, they will be able to know that, look, this thing is not for me to die. I could always cry aloud for the governments and other non-governmental institutions such as AWLA, you understand, in this particular activity, in this particular fight. So,
I hope, in fact, we are looking forward to this conference and we know that Nigeria, Africa will be better for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Have a lovely day.
Thank you. I think the conference is doing its best. You can see that even secondary schools, girls have been invited. Yes. So at the end of the day, we have seen from their logistics, yes, a lot of people have been invited. Yes. So as to talk, because we need continuous education on the subject matter, so as to create awareness. So thank you very much. I'm happy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope I'm not flattered. This is Ofonime Udofa Esquire, a member of African Women